folks. It's another day and another Arch Linux distro to look at. So today, after looking online, came across RebornOS, and looking at RebornOS definitely reminds me of the old Antijoss days. It even looks like some of the same installers. Um, Website really nicely laid out, really gets to the point. Although it does look like the last installers were in 2021, but again, rolling, so should be interesting to see how the install goes. Looking at the download side, I've already downloaded it. They give you two different options. You can use an LTS kernel or you can use regular kernel. Reading about us portion, easy list of all the developers as well as contributors, and a whole journey of one of the founders of this project. Quite a long read here if you're interested, although they do talk about Antijoss and of course using the same installer. I know the Sinji installer wasn't always the most loved. I know towards the end of Antijoss's life it tended to be quite unstable, and of course there is a donation available to this. So I think let's start off and take a look at this distro. I myself haven't tried it before either, so yeah, let's see. So let's create a new virtual machine. Again, local distro, browse, reborn. I just got the 64-bit installer, also Arch. Let's give it also 4 gigs of memory. Let's use 2 of these cores. That's fine, 20 gigs. And this time, let me just call it RebornOS and let it start up. Can't contain weird characters, so just do a dash here and click finish. Let it start up. Wow, that was quick. Okay, so again, default, if you're using NVIDIA, you can use the non-free drivers if you need to, but of course this is a virtual machine, so we're just going to do it in the virtual machine so far. And let it expand. Also another distro that also uses systemd, but I was reading on the site that there are multiple desktop environments one can install with. So let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay, and it looks like the default, if I'm not mistaken, is, yeah, this definitely looks like no. Okay, so nice icon set. Installer, RebornOS installer, RebornOS installer, and welcome. Okay, that's quite interesting. Reborn, welcome. Okay, fine. It is the same installer as Antijoss Hudson G. I'm just going to close this because I want to see what the difference is between this installer. Oh, okay, this pops up again. And what about this? Okay, they both look like they open up the exact same thing. That's quite interesting. But alright, let's go to install. I've apparently 2 instances running. Install it. Okay. Nice option here. You can configure it that you're behind a proxy. It doesn't handle RAID and BT or Btrfs subvolumes. Okay, yeah, we've got all the dependencies. That's fine. We're connected. 8 gigs plus. Cool. Let's just scroll down here to English US. Next zone. I'm just going to use Africa for this, and let's just call it Johannesburg. Really, just need the time zone. English US keyboard. Okay, and the desktop environment you can choose. Oh, this is quite cool. So normal base, essentially just command line OS. Could also be another quick way if you want a minimal install budgie. Of course, based on around GNOME. Cinnamon, same. Cute Fish is also here, which is pretty nice. Deepen, as you can see. GNOME, i3, KDE, Mate, Regolith, XFCE. You know what? I'm going to choose something different and use the UK UE, which is basically the distro that is customized for Ubuntu in the China market. But yeah, let's just use this GUI. Why not? Okay. It really reminds me here. Let's see what options we've got. Okay, it automatically will enable AUR. Chromium web browser, editing, Dropbox, Firefox Developer Edition. Interesting. Already gives you the option of Firefox, Google Chrome, LTS kernel, only offers desktop editors. Okay, at least there's option for LibreOffice. I'll just add that. Popular games for Linux. Notes, Spotify, Redshift, Vivaldi. At least Redshift is basing the color temperatures adjuster. Glad to see they have Steam. Okay, well, and if we show the advanced features here, more support for firmware devices. WPS Office if you prefer that. Nautils. Cool, just a really couple of extra. Oh, and an enable Broadcom driver support. Yeah, this you would use, of course, usually if you have a laptop. Of course, some laptops to support Broadcom Wi-Fi can be a bit of an issue. So this should help in that case. I'm surprised that's not actually straight built in. Let's just go next here. Okay, standard warning about AUR. Okay, it's recommended using additional cache partition. Cannot be on the same device partition we're installing. If you select a device, its contents will be deleted. If selected partitions, contents will be preserved. Okay, let's just select that. Yes, we're sure that will be. How will we proceed? Okay, it will sort out the mirrors for us, so that's fine. Let's see how well that works. And can encrypt, then store. Use LVM. That's an option I haven't seen in a while. Set up permanent different. This is a nice option. I think wish more distros would do this by default, because usually you have to manually partition the distro. Always a good idea to have your home and root partition in different spots. Choose exactly. No, you're not going to do that. Yes, we should. We'll overwrite everything. That's fine. Name. So I'll just say call it. Gosh. Computer's name. I'll just call it Reborn VM. I'll just use the unit's name as Gosh, and a very strong password. And require my password to log in. That's correct. Okay. Nice bit of a summary screen. Really sure, yes. I am surprised that this distro makes use of GNOME or GNOME as the base for the live installer. A lot of distros usually make use of XFCE because it's generally much more lightweight. Yeah, hopefully this will install without issues. I'm just going to pause the video in the meantime, and then we'll come back to this once it's finished downloading. And we're back. So yeah, this really reminds me of the antitrust days, where the installer would have random errors. So yeah, this is the error we've got now. Unable to update one of the databases. You hit close. And there you go, the installer completely and utterly fails, with no additional reasons given. And just giving an error code really doesn't help anyone, especially if you're a new user. It will help the developers maybe, but yeah, really not great. So let's take a look here. And is this thing going to make me try to install it entirely again from scratch? Surely not. Yep, I think that's actually what it's going to do. Yeah, that's quite disappointing. I wonder what would happen if I tried to reboot it. I suppose this thing's not going to, probably won't come up again. I doubt it finished installing anything else, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's reboot it. See if it does anything. I doubt it's going to do anything. Yeah, okay. That's just great. Well, let's try this again, I suppose. Is all that we can do. So let's force that off. Close that there. And start it over again. Just going to delete this, just for the simple fact it's going to be easier. Who knows, maybe it wasn't installer, maybe it just doesn't like that GUI version we chose. So reborn again, still Arch. Let's go next, forward again, 4 gigs of memory. Whoops, 96, give it 2 CPUs. Yeah, so it actually took about 30 minutes and it got to about 75% when it bombed out. So let's do this all over again and see what it does. Let's maximize it. Yeah, really disappointed with that. So let's give this a few seconds here to start again. And let it load. Out of interest, if you check the memory usage from the live CD, you'll see that it uses just over 1.1 gigs. So it's actually pretty decent. Yeah. No, I don't want that. I want English, US. Pick a random time zone in Africa. English, US. Well, UK UI was a bust, so let's try May Tomate, just because it's simple, so that this is as fast as normal. I'm not going to add anything else here like I did the previous time. Next, yes, disclaimer, this cache partition thing, yes, we're sure. Yeah, I'll let it sort out the mirrors, although not that it was faster last time. Separate partition, that's fine. Yeah, that's also fine. Okay, let's call it reborn 2 and a username and a really strong password again. Let's do that. Require my password to log in. Cool, yeah. Okay, so it's also again checking for all the available packages. And yeah, hopefully this thing will actually finish the installation this time around. So I think while we let it create a list of packages to download, I'm going to pause this video again in the same spot, basically, and come back. I'll be back, and I'd love to say the story has a happy ending, But yeah, I've had this installer crash on me 2-3 more times in the same spot with the same error, and in all honesty, I can't actually get this distro installed. I have no freaking clue at this point. Again, last time I really had this issue was with Antijos. So yeah, just to make sure this whole thing hasn't been a complete waste. If you look in the distro, they do have the Arch kernel manager, similar to what Manjaro and Garuda have. So you can choose if you want your normal Linux kernel, LTS, Zen, hardened, and by default, I see at the moment its local version is 5.14, with, of course, a couple of days ago 5.18 came out. Also installed as well, there's a firmware manager, or should I say on the live distro. Okay, that's busy loading devices. So the extensions features there as well. System monitor still shows that it's using only 2.3 gigs of memory, so really not much. That's the extension screen. Firmware is still actually loading, and if we go about, let's go here, you'll see that we are using GNOME 40.4. Again, I'd expect that if you can actually get this installed without the installer crashing, then you would have a much newer version than the software. It also still has Pulse Audio that it makes use of, and of course, default browser is Firefox. Not much else really to talk about. What I did like though is that they do include GNOME tweaks, or just tweaks, these days by default, and also tweak the title bar to have minimize and maximize buttons, and at least on the right hand side. Okay, firmware doesn't seem to be loading either. So yeah, terminal, as you can see here, pretty decent, using mad bash, so not much else to write home about there. Final thoughts, well, I think great effort by the team, but in all honesty, as somebody, for a new user or an experienced Arch user, I really wouldn't recommend this at all. I would rather suggest looking at one of the other Arch-based distros, or regular Arch, or at least maybe the team for RebornOS will change the installer to even a CLI or to a Calamari installer. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, good luck. Please leave your comments down below if you've used this distro, or maybe you've been able to get it installed and it's just something with my hardware or virtual machine setup, or my internet. I would be most appreciated to get your feedback. Cool all. Thanks for watching. Bye.